My deadbeat fiancé called me a gold digger in front of my parents because I don't want to be a traditional wife, so I put the ring down and told him that I wanted to break up. My fiancé and I met on social media. He's an American who's currently working in my country. We've been dating for 3 years and been engaged for 5 months. He always tells me he's looking for a traditional woman and wants to date with marriage in mind. He said that women who can take care of the household and child-rearing are admirable, and I always agree with him without much thought because that's indeed an incredible feat. Although I come from a relatively traditional Asian family. My father owns a rice wine brewery and my mother helps him with it. Even though I said my family is pretty much conservative, from what I've seen growing up, my father never told my mother to do all the chores and he helps her with it. My father always said that he couldn't provide for the family alone and she had to work. That's why he never expected her to do everything in the house. Just like how they share the responsibilities to earn for our family, they also share responsibilities for taking care of the household. Anyway, my fiancé is working in a small university and I'm currently working in a hospital. We saved enough to buy a house with a little bit of the help of my parents, but we haven't moved in together though because you know Asian parents. On my father's birthday last week, we talked about marriage once again. He doesn't think his income alone would be enough after our marriage and it's giving him insecurity, so I suggested that I keep working after marriage and that's not a problem because we'd be partners. My father even offered that we take over his brewery, and while I found the idea lovely, my fiancé on the other hand seemed hesitant about it, but he agreed that I should keep my job. That was where the first problem started. I told him that since I had to work then I expected he'd help with the household chores later. After I said that, he suddenly got irritated. He said that he had been telling me he was looking for a traditional woman and that now he had been catfished since I didn't want to take care of every house chore because I'd still work anyway. Whenever he said he was looking for a traditional spouse, I always thought that he'd also be a traditional spouse, aka being the sole provider, so I could focus on taking care of the house and child if we ever have any. But when I told him that, he said I'm a gold digger and materialistic like any other woman, even when I never once asked him to be the sole provider. My parents don't really speak English, so they only could understand a bit and a piece of what we said. He brought that up first. Mind you, I didn't even let him spend alone when we went out on a date. Even my father willingly offered his brewery if we wanted to take care of it as a means to provide for ourselves. So where's the gold I should have been digging here? That was when I put the ring down and told him that I wanted to break up. I told him he was not traditional enough if he wanted a fully traditional wife. I didn't want to deal with someone who could easily call me a gold digger because I wanted to share the chores in front of my parents. I can't help but think if he could easily say what he said in front of my parents when we haven't married yet, then he could be saying something worse if we're married and alone. I went home alone and he texted me saying he was sorry and he didn't mean what he said. He asked to meet but I don't feel like it. His mother now trying to talk me out of it and that I'm too old to act like this, and it's the culture barrier that leads us to this point. Update. Last night I had dinner with him alongside my father. Long story short, he still didn't want to end our relationship. He apologized, saying he misspoke and wanted to fix his mistake. He said it was because he was too comfortable with me since I'm not a confrontational person and I did help quite a lot with his chores, so he thought I'd always be accommodating what he wants. I also apologized that I've never really brought this kind of topic seriously and not made sure we were on the same page whenever we did discuss this type of topic. He agreed that I should have told him before because that way it would never get to this point and then keep bringing up my bad communication. I know it's my fault too, but it didn't feel good at all hearing that from him. Even if he had admitted his faults and never spoke badly to me before except for that one time, I still can't shake off my distrust of him. I don't know why, but what happened last week is like an instant feeling repellent. So, I returned the ring he gave me and told him I'd return more than half of the amount we used to buy our house. He initially refused the money, saying he wanted to keep trying to win back my trust and me to keep in contact with him, but this morning he said I can transfer his money because marriage is not happening now and tried to prevent me to sell the house nor tell our mutual friends that marriage is off the table. So, I just updated almost all of my group chats and now I'm single. My now ex-fiancé got a red flag so big, China would be crying with envy.